Melanie from the Pandoras, the Muffs, and the Coolings. You're watching the JFJ Conspiracy Podcast, where the shop talk is raw.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Frank.
And I'm Jerry.
And this is the JFJ Conspiracy Podcast, where the shop talk is rock. Gentlemen, Jerry, how are you this week?
Frank, Jim, I'm doing wonderfully.
Very good.
How are you cats?
Jim.
I'm doing really good, man. I spent the last few days in Encinitas.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, celebrating our anniversary.
Oh, that's right, honey. Happy anniversary. 35 años.
Yeah. And it's always a little tough to come back after a nice vacation. Like
I agree.
Yeah, and you probably don't take enough.
Nobody ever takes enough, do they? I don't know.
Yeah, well, you're one a little tighter than Frank and I.
That is probably very true.
Yeah, probably.
But you know what? After a week or so, I'm ready to come home. I miss my dogs, the comfort of my own bed, my own pillow.
Yeah, I miss being home. Yeah.
I will say this: the bed we had in the hotel was amazing. It was so comfortable.
Yeah.
But I've got that whole thing where internal alarm clock, right? I'm used to waking up at 4 a.m. every day. Right. So every morning, like 6 o'clock, I'm like up, just up.
Yeah.
Gail's still asleep, but I'm just.
And that's tough to do when you're in a room because you can't make noise. You don't want to wake her up. You can't watch TV. No. And
I told her I wish I had her talent for sleep. I just don't.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, like, say you want to leave. I'm going to go grab something to eat. You come back and your day's ruined because you left.
You get the eyeball, the evil eye. Yep.
Right.
Well, happy anniversary. We're really
happy anniversary, Jaime.
Yep.
To you and Gail. Wonderful.
And Jim froze up. Look at he's doing the sprinkler.
He did.
You were doing the sprinkler there.
Yeah, you were.
Who was?
You were. You froze.
You just froze up.
The weird thing was, from my
talk,
screen,
Frank.
you guys were frozen, and I was.
And you were moving.
No, you did and then it locked.
Yeah.
I don't do the sprinkler.
You were doing the sprinkler.
I do the lawnmower. Whatever.
Oh my. Well, I have a question for you, Jim.
What's in Jim's fridge?
Oh. Something I think is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Smashing Pumpkins.
Smashing Pumpkins 7-inch. This is on Sub Pop, 1990. So this is pre-Gish.
Very good.
Very, very early Pumpkins. And if you notice the thing, we're on pink vinyl.
Gorgeous.
Tristeza was the A side. B side was La Dolly Vita.
Right.
And very limited edition. I don't think you find this anymore. Price on this, I think, has gone way, way up.
Wow.
Good for me. I don't know that I want to part with it, but so early on, before their first album was even released.
Right.
There you go.
I was going to ask you, use that on the cover. Yeah, that's how early that is.
Vinyl's so cool, you got to keep it in the refrigerator.
Nice. Smashing Pumpkins are a band that I appreciate more now than in the 90s. I didn't really get into them when they first came out.
Nor I.
Wasn't my genre of music for rock. I think I didn't appreciate Corgan's style. But man, I like listening to their music now. That's for sure. He's an interesting cat too.
He is an interesting cat.
Gambler.
dated Courtney Love, which makes me question is.
Yeah. Well,
at least he got out before he was dead.
Yeah, I think he's been searching for happiness for a long time. He's one of those guys. He didn't really get it from home.
No.
Listening to some interviews that he's done, it's sad because once he got popular and had all that money and everything out, then his grandpa wanted to talk to him. He was interested in what he had to say. Before then, didn't care. So it's kind of a sad thing.
Yeah, that is kind of.
He's learned some perspective over time. I
Yes.
listened to an interesting interview where he's talking about selling out festivals, and then now they played a much smaller crowds, and I think he's gained a little humility and but has an understanding of kind of what the score is these days.
Good.
Produced whole actually.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think what that third whole album was that he produced, but the some of the talk was that he wrote most of that album.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Why it's so good, I don't know. whether or not he got credit on it, I don't know. But
that wasn't Celebrity Skin, was it?
Yes, I think he did produce Celebrity Skin. That's the one I was thinking.
I think that's the only whole that I own.
1998.
Cool.
I got into a discussion one time on the internet with someone who sort of claimed to be Courtney Love, or was at least posing as Courtney Love. I don't know, but I was telling her how much I hated that first whole album. Pretty on the inside. I was like, that's a miserable record. She's like, well, what about Live Through This? It sold like 7 million copies. I'm like, freaking look, there's no accounting for taste, right? Garth Brooks sold like 60 million albums.
Wow,
there you
go, fella.
Tell us how you really feel.
Tell you how you really feel.
Don't
right?
hold back, baby.
So,
don't hold back.
I said, look, I'm on your side and all, but
but that's a shitty album.
Yeah. Hey, I know you have a mail call this week, but before you do, I have a couple of things I want to bring up because I forgot to. Number one, did you see that Double Platinum is being re-released? For $200, you can get the colored picture disc of one of their faces on each side. For $60, you can get all four of their faces on each side. The $200 version, there's only 500 copies that are being sold. Guaranteed. I think they're already sold out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They've got packages where you can get a coffee mug and a sticker and all this other stuff for $130.
Lunch pail, license plate frame,
unreal,
beach towel, dish towel.
I'm only interested if there's a belt buckle.
No belt buckle. Sorry.
Well done, Jaime.
So no interest in that on either of you.
Here's what's funny about Double Platinum. No.
First off,
let me. Yeah.
Go ahead, Jerry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, when Jaime, it's your anniversary. You go, brother.
Do I get to see Ace's face or do I get to see Tommy's face?
It's Ace's face. It's the actual embossed faces. When you open up the.
Oh, okay.
They colorize those.
And put them on the records?
They're cartoonish. It's not even a photo.
Here.
Look it up. It's terrible.
Some artist rendering. Yeah.
Double Platinum is a horrible package. I didn't even buy it when it came out.
I did.
I mean, I own it now, but
I had to have everything Kiss back in the day.
I'm sorry.
Strutter 78, they called it because they redid it and added nothing to it. Yeah. And they took the car crash and all the noises out of Detroit Rock City.
And the radio commentary in Detroit, Michigan, a Detroit youth was killed today.
And that's the only difference.
Through the windshield.
The rest of it, I think they added a chorus here or there, or something like that.
In Detroit Rock City, and it's a terrible version.
Yes, it is.
Not as good as the original.
So I can't see spending $200 for a picture disc
Hang on a second, Jaime. What did he say? What did
That's
Frank say?
You heard me.
Can't spend $200 for a picture disc.
No.
I knew he wouldn't say it again, James. You know why? Because he's going to.
No. I guarantee you I am not buying the $200 version.
Well, okay. I told you, Jaime.
So, sir, what version are you buying?
I'm buying all of them. I got to know who's on each side.
We'll see if I can part way with $60 for the other, just because it completes the. They're going to come out with colored vinyl on all of them.
For all of them, I know.
So might as well have it.
I was going to say, yeah.
Because it's not going to be available. It's going to be a Sonic Boom type situation where these Kiss fans are going to, hoard them up and think that's the inheritance.
Tell me about it, Frank. Here's my double platinum story, guys. This is my first eye-opening into. Hey, Kiss has a new album out. So I buy it. I don't think about nothing. I buy it and I start playing it and I go, well, that sounds like that's from Kiss's first album. Well, no, that's from Destroyer. And that was my first realization about compilation, greatest whatever.
Yeah.
So they got me good on double platinum.
They got us all good.
As soon as I rode my bike down to Kmart or whatever and bought that stuff.
At that time, Jerry, 1978, you got to remember the Kiss Army was drinking the Kool-Aid fast as Gene and Paul could shove it.
Same here. Yeah.
Fast as they were mixing it up. They were pouring it out.
Yeah, and you couldn't drink enough.
Nope.
What? They got lunch pails? No, double platinum got me good, guys.
Next bit right now, we are going to have 3 different bands on tonight, and this is directly to those bands.
Are we doing mail call?
Yes, we're going to do this after we get to this bit because I don't want to forget about it.
Okay.
When we play your guys' music, the bands that we are going to feature, we're asking one thing. Share the show with your fans on your social media, on whatever you got. I don't care if you got a cassette recorder and that's all you've got on your realistic tape. Play it for somebody else. All right? So, last bit of business. And I don't know if either of you have seen it or not. And this is purely self-indulgent on my part. I was going through a box of CDs and I found some stuff I recorded back in 2008, 2009, a bunch of cover tunes that I recorded. And I put them up.
Shakin Abe?
Yes. I put one song, 16 Tons. Remember the old Tennessee Ernie Ford?
Tennessee Ernie Ford.
I put that up on YouTube.
What do you get? Don't tell me they got you.
No. I'm saying this for all our listeners. Check it out. Like, subscribe, the whole bit. If I don't get any feedback on this, I'm not putting any of the songs up because what's the point? It's no good if I have, it's like 9 listens, right? And probably 8 of them are mine. So the thing is, like it, I don't have subscribers on it's Shakin Abe. Check it out. And let me know what you think about the cover tunes. It's just not as good as the originals. There's nothing I can do. It's just self-indulgent fun. Anyways, enough of that. Mail call. What you got, Jim?
Not as much as you, evidently.
Jaime's on fire today.
Mm-hmm.
Red Cross.
Nice.
The original Red Cross EP. This just came out on Merge. I got it, I think, a couple of days ahead of the release date. Actually, showed up in the mail. But the 40th anniversary of their original EP.
Wow, 40th.
6 songs from the original EP, and then B-side is demo versions and a live version of Fun with Connie.
Nice.
Excuse me.
So,
have you cracked it open yet?
I have not cracked it open yet. I've got the digital version, so I've been listening to that. But
Jim ain't touching it.
Well, that one comes with a download also, I think.
Comes with a download also.
You go.
But I bought it off of Bandcamp, so you can automatically get the download on Bandcamp.
Cool.
Yeah, Bandcamp.
And Merge sends the vinyl, blah, blah, blah.
Very good.
But they wouldn't release the download until the vinyl.
The vinyl came out, yeah. That's something else.
Yeah, is what it is.
Gotta work those angles.
It's cool, very punk rock. You know,
Sweet.
It's their early stuff.
But those guys are so talented, though. Man, they've got a sound about them that you instantly know who it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're very identifiable. Yeah. And a band on my mail call, who's a lot like that, who once you hear it, like, oh, I know who this is. The first one is a 2008 reissue of White Flag. It's the album S is for Space. This is a deluxe 2 LP set, one black LP, one white. I guess there's variations. Everybody gets different colors or whatever. Disc 1 is all studio stuff. It's the actual S is for Space album. Disc 2 is L is for Live. And what I like about Disc 2 is there's a side A and a side 1. So
nice.
These guys. And then same with the first one. But they do a take on Casablanca label and different things. And they've always...
is that on Gasatanka?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gasatanka.
Well done.
My other mail call, I actually have this is a threefer. And I showed you guys this via social media.
I am jealous.
Re-release. This is the re-release of the Melvin's solo EPs. Oh. Yeah. So, still sealed. Had to get them. I got that through Planetary Sound is the name of the company that I bought them from.
These are re-releases on vinyl?
Yeah, these came out. I think they re-released these in 2017 for a very quick run. And so
just to get a feel, maybe get a feel.
Yeah. And you ordered them directly from them?
Yeah, they actually they're not selling like them in bulk. They had them in stock. It was just one of those deals.
Oh,
so it's like a record store who happens to have some stuff. So
yeah, if you find those like original issue, they're
they're worth some dough.
Yeah,
and not easy to come by.
Cheapest one I saw. I don't remember if I was looking at Dale Crover's or maybe it was Buzzos, but the cheapest one I saw was like $65.
Wow, it's crazy.
But most of them were in the $80-$90 range.
That's something else. Yeah. My third bit was from the last show we had. I told you I had ordered some used records.
Yes.
And wanted to share them with you. And I'm happy to say for $25, Big Daddy scored Obsession. Obsession. And again, all the vinyl on these is just outstanding.
Yeah. Nice. I wore that one out.
This also comes.
Yes, I did.
Extra 7-inch?
This is the radio version of Far From Home. It's only on one side. It's was released direct to
one-sided single.
Yes. Released to record stations.
You don't see those too often.
No.
Usually there's something on the other side.
Yeah, like a demo from what made you think of that.
Here's Heaven. Not familiar with this album, but we'll see.
Wow.
This is the reason I bought. Now, this is the only one that's a little tattered on the outside, but the album is awesome.
Rose Tattoo.
Talking about that last show, right?
Yes.
Frank? From
and
Australia?
Then finally.
Love at First Sting?
Yes.
Is that what that is?
Love at First Sting.
Love at First Sting.
All for $25, guys. I mean,
that's a deal and a half.
That's the deal of the century, Frank.
It was
done.
for me. I was expecting half of them to be scratched or jacked up or warped.
Do that fast way with this one-sided for $25.
Yeah,
easily.
tell me about it. Yep.
Well done.
Good stuff. So that's my mail call. And,
very nice.
Woo!
When Cindy wonders why we're not eating meat this month.
Tell her you're still planting the garden.
It's Lent.
It's done. It's
there you go, honey.
It's a very long Lent this year.
There you go.
Due to the COVID virus, we're celebrating Lent.
And
later or earlier, depending on where. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move along to Jerry's pick this week, shall we?
Yes, sir. Jim and Frank, I got a band out of Cleveland, Ohio called the Cheap Easies.
All right.
Which I love that. The Cheap Easies. The bio, short bio. longtime friends who have played in various Cleveland punk and hardcore bands. Notably, and I love this, notably, I have to edit myself on this one. Notably, one of the bands they were in was F You Pay Me, but it's the whole word.
There you go.
F You Pay Me. American Werewolves, and this band name I love, Amps to 11.
Sweet.
Which is a homage to Spinal Tap, right?
Spinal Tap. This is.
The thing in quotes says slightly aggressive buzz pop punk. We have the Cheap Easies are Steve Callahan, drums, backing vocals, Justin Haberer, voice and guitar, and Brendan Moore, bass and backing vocals. And thank you, Brendan, for getting back to us on our jfjshow@gmail.com. The name of the tune is Bypass. It's on their debut album, Sirens on the Radio, which just came out June 16th. So 2 weeks and change ago. Got recorded February through March 2020 by Chris Wright at Earl Hammer Studio. Engineered, mixed, Chris Wright, the same. Mastered at Cauliflower Audio by Adam Boos. And the name of the tune is Bypass. The name of their debut album is Sirens on the Radio. And it's Cheap Easies out of Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah. Let's give them a listen, shall we?
Bennett Frank, yeah.
Absolutely love the production on it.
Yeah.
Love the drum sound, love the guitar tones. Very well written. Love the attack of the vocal. The vocal kind of surprised me a little bit, a little rougher than what I expected. This is very, to me, kind of falls into that kind of pop punky kind of vibe.
Slightly aggressive buzz pop punk, it says.
Yeah. There you go, buzz pop. Vocals remind a little bit of Rancid, you know, a
little bit.
But radio ready. It sounds like if I turned on K-Rock.
Why is it?
I mean, not K-Rock now, but K-Rock a couple years ago.
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah.
What I liked about that song is it sounds like it's ready for a movie soundtrack. You know.
Oh, that could easily be. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just got that that sound that tells, you know, you could be in the middle of some kind of
that's a car chase tune to me.
Yeah, you could have almost anything going on.
Or a bar fight.
Yeah, if you had a group of friends involved in a bar fight or something, that would be a good tune to go along with it. Love the production of that.
Cheap Easies from Cleveland, Ohio.
Very nice.
And, Sirens on the Radio is the album, folks. And Cheap Easies, do what Frank said, share it.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah, no kidding.
Thank you, Steve, Justin, and Brendan. Yep.
Cool. Well, moving forward, my band comes from Germany, guys. And
hot tongue, baby.
I'm going to tell you something. If you long for that new wave of British heavy metal sound, these guys have kind of tuned themselves into that style of music. It took me back to the time when we were kids. You go to the record store and you buy a record because of the cover.
Yeah.
And when you see the cover of this album, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But the music does not disappoint. The band is called Night Train, and the album is Hell Central. The song I'm going to play is called Monument of Ignorance. And
they wrote a tune about us?
Yes, they did. We've got Dominic Dowder and Tobias Rube on guitars, Simon Coder on bass and vocals, Kevin Wagner on vocals, and Kevin's the one that actually got back to me, and Benjamin Stimfel on drums and vocals. They're heralded as the long overdue new wave of German heavy metal for the 21st century. You can check them out on Facebook.
Yeah.
You can check them out on Bandcamp. They've got videos, lots of live stuff. These guys don't mess around. And again, the song that I'm going to play is Monument of Ignorance. Here it is.
Quiet anymore in a world thrown by hate, burning places everywhere. Religion is the reason why so many children cry, so many people lose their lives for a book full of lies. Break through this monument of ignorance. A construct of fear is always built to fall.
All right, Monument of Ignorance by Night Train. Let's start with you, Jerry. What did you think of that?
Thank you. Before I say that, Frank and Jim, let me tell you out, folks out in conspiracy land, Jim and Frank are not monuments of ignorance. I am. These two cats know everything that's come out for, I don't know, 120, 130 years now. So the monument of ignorance is me, folks out in conspiracy land. But getting back to your question, Frank, that's great stuff. That's good, simple rock and roll. I like it when it speeds up. I love the guitar solo because it takes it elsewhere. You know, you're here, you're jamming, and all of a sudden when they peel off and do the solo, fantastic. Well produced, clean, great. Great, Frank. Thank you. That was
Jim,
a treat.
that comes in at 3 minutes and 37 seconds. It
sounds, why do you tell them, Frank?
Nah.
Why do you? Yeah, but when they shred solos like that, Jim loses time. Remember in high school? Remember that one time?
Yep.
No.
But the point I want to make is 3 minutes 37 seconds, a little more than his 3 minutes tops.
That's my point. But when, we know Jim loses time when the shredding starts.
Miss it. You don't miss it. That song needed every bit it got. What'd you think, Jim?
All right.
Well
said.
I completely agree. When you said kind of new wave of British heavy metal, I was expecting it to sound differently in the sense that all the great components are there. It's such a well-written song, and so well produced, but the sound of it is very modern.
Very modern.
The drums sound very modern, the guitar sounds very modern, the shred, and it was fantastic. I really liked it.
Yeah.
Even though it was over 3 minutes, Jim?
Just a tick.
Yeah.
Just a tick over.
Okay.
And I want to bring this to your attention. It's something I learned a while ago. In the 80s, if you go back and listen to all our favorite bands, Dokken, Rat, all those bands, they all had the same drum sound on the snare. And I found out not long ago, it was actually a trigger that they used, basically, almost a synth type, trigger to get that fatness, because you just can't get it.
Good ear, Frank.
Yeah. Well, I always thought, man, these drums, how do you get this sound? And, it's a studio trick, however they were doing it. But the drums on this pan from left and right to left when it hits the toms and everything, crystal clear. Just the production is just out of this world in this record.
That's good.
So, anyways, that's Night Train. The album is Hell Central. You can get it on Bandcamp. They're on, like I said, Facebook. They've got their own page. If you read German, it'll really be beneficial. And if not, you can just watch the videos of their shows and whatnot. A lot of neat stuff. So check them out. All right, Jim.
Monument of Ignorance.
There you go. What you got for us, Jim?
My band this week is a band out of DC called Bad Moves. And, hold on. I lost their bio. They were kind enough to send me a bio, which you guys know.
Yep.
When it comes to my bands, nobody ever sends me a bio, but, so this was just released June 12th on Don Giovanni Records.
John Giovanni.
Hey. Second full length for these guys.
Thank you.
Hey.
It's a record fired in the anxiety and exhaustion of our historical moment. 12 very personal and political songs about surviving in a perpetual state of crisis. It was recorded late last year at Philadelphia's Headroom Studios with Joe Reinhardt at the knobs. It's called Untenable. That's the new album. Nudges Bad Moves sound to suit a slightly darker outlook. The drums charge along with intensity and bite. The guitars favor lockstep call and response riffs. A bit of noise, dissonance, and snarl has crept into the periphery. Those spikier sounds frame lyrics about the numerous places that instability erodes our lives. Tipped wages, service industry jobs, our self-image is groomed for public consumption via social media. The title Untenable is a nod to the overwhelming feeling of instability that permeates life right now, whether at work, at home, or on the planet. There's a melodic sweetness there too, though, and a fair bit of hope which I think we can all use right now.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Uncertain times are also an opportunity for change. So Bad Moves is Emma Cleveland, David Combs, Katie Park, and Daoud Tyler Amin.
Daoud.
Daoud. Formed in 2015, band has performed throughout the U.S. and the U.K. And here's what I found really interesting. There's a cartoon. My kids don't watch Cartoon Network anymore. They're all a little older than that now. But there's a show on there evidently called Craig of the Creek, and there's an animated version of the band that shows up in there. I think,
cool.
That shows them trying to book their own kind of DIY concert or whatever. So
very nice.
Anyway, I found them sort of under the power pop label, which was a little surprising. It's a little more, to me, a little more on the punky side,
right?
Kind of that poppy punk. But you'll hear it. The song's called Local Radio. So go ahead, Frank, and drop the needle in the groove.
like about that song, Jim? I like.
What do you like about it?
The back and forth of the vocals.
Yes.
Jerry loves the bass. Yes.
Sometimes you get that female voice. Sometimes you get the male voice. Mm-hmm. They're switching.
It was good though.
But when they sing together, they
good
blend
harmonies.
really well.
It's beautiful. Yeah, honey.
It's not X, Frank.
No, it's not at all. Never in a million years would I think it was.
No. But I love the sound of this record.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Sounds good.
That was really good.
Well, it's got a good raw sound to it while sounding clean, like you said, and modern.
Yes,
I like that. Yeah.
Great production on that. Good stuff.
Yes.
And you found them on Bandcamp as well?
Bandcamp, yes. Bad Moves.
Bad Moves. You got to check them out, people.
And they have vinyl available, colored vinyl.
Oh.
At a reasonable price too. I think the album's like $18, $19.
That's not bad. So. That's about the going.
Colored vinyl? No, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But you can download the whole album for like $8.
Sweet.
So.
All right.
Well
definitely
done.
check out
Well
Bad
done,
Boobs.
James. Yep.
Very good.
Yep.
Moving forward, my pick was from 1984, and it was the debut album of WASP. And I was trying to go back and figure out when it was they got into my wheelhouse, and I remember before we graduated high school, there was a band called Circus Circus. And later on, found out that was Blackie Lawless and Randy Piper. And that was pre-WASP. And they kind of morphed into the band WASP. And
he was in another band called Sister.
He was in Sister, and I think with Nikki Sixx.
With Nikki Sixx, yeah.
Yeah.
Playing bass. So Blackie would have been playing guitar.
Yeah, that didn't last very long. But yeah, the story goes that he played with a touring version of New York Dolls for a hot second. I don't know. Can't find any of that on YouTube, but that's what the story goes.
Well, that was when the Dolls were disintegrating. I think at that point.
Yeah, they probably got anybody they could to play with them so they can play live. But this album came out August 1984, August 17th. And I didn't know this by just reading up today that it was known by 3 different names.
Yes.
Yeah. The cassette was called I Want to Be Somebody, which was one of the singles that the album produced.
Wonderful song. I love that tune.
In Europe, it was called Winged Assassins.
I don't know where that came from, though.
Well, I think
Europe,
it's part of their logo.
Yeah, Europe.
If you looked at the spine on the European cuts of that album, it says Winged Assassins. Yeah. And then just, of course, WASP here. And they dropped Animal in another song for the U.S. release. So the version we're going to talk about is the U.S. Came in at 38 minutes and 21 seconds, a respectable amount of time for a rock album. And what's interesting, I was telling you guys this last episode, this little tidbit I think is, I remember reading about this in Circus or Cream way back when. When they put this album out, the whole idea, Blackie wanted a US side and a European side. So the songs on side 1 are tailor-made for the United States audience.
Really?
And then the edgier, darker songs were meant for the European audience on side 2. So we'll get into that in a minute. Side 1, again, first of all, this was produced by Blackie Lawless and Mike Varney. And what's pretty cool is they were managed by Rod Smallwood.
Oh, interesting.
The only other band he's ever managed is
Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden. So you got to be in pretty good company if you only want something to do with those 2 bands.
2 very different bands, which is
heavy metal.
Interesting.
I think both sides of the pond. He's getting his feet wet everywhere. So, album was recorded at the record plant in Los Angeles and is put out by Capitol Records. Side 1 is I Want to Be Somebody, Love Machine, The Flame, BAD, and School Days, which was the other single that was put out.
I like that tune too.
Yeah. The interesting thing about the first album, it's the only album with that lineup. Tony Richards, the drummer, departed before anything really happened, I think. Yeah. And they got Steve Riley playing drums for him. But did you notice those songs, they're pretty good hard rockers, but they're not barn burners like side 2. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Now, I remember, I think it's Guitar Magazine. They used to have the tabs every month or whatever. One month they put I Want to Be Somebody.
Yes. With the bass line. Because I remember dinking around on that.
Yes. The funniest thing ever, the following month when the new magazine came out and they had, I don't know, Stevie Ray Vaughan or somebody else, and the readers would write their comments, and they're basically like, what are you wasting our time with WASP? There's 2 chords in this song.
Right. Nothing complicated about
I
these
like
tunes.
it.
Yes. Jim, if you have to pick a favorite song on side 1, what would stand up to you the most?
Well, I kind of like the singles.
Mm-hmm.
Of the 2, I mean, I like I Want to Be Somebody. I like the message of the tune. It's something positive too. I think Love Machine actually is maybe just edges it out a little bit.
Really? Interesting.
I don't know. I'll go with I Want to Be Somebody.
Okay. Jerry, what about you?
I agree with Jim. I've got marks by I Want to Be Somebody, The Flame, and School Days.
Yeah.
This is a great album, Frank. I would have never bought this album on my own.
Oh,
I'm telling you. This
it's a good one.
Oh, yeah. I loved it.
Actually, The Flame is my favorite song on side 1. And
interesting.
Barely edged out by School Days. School Days was just too much of an Alice Cooper ripoff in the.
That's what I thought, Frankie. I go, yeah.
Bit of my gripe there too.
Yeah. But the riff and the solo, Chris Holmes just rips the solo on that thing.
This album's great.
Yeah. So it's a good way to start an album out. But side 2, guys, let's check that out. Okay, so side 2, we got Hellion, Sleeping in the Fire, On Your Knees, Tormentor, and The Torture Never Stops. Jim, what tracks stand out to you?
Probably On Your Knees. That was
that's what I got, Jaime.
Because I remember seeing him do that live in the clubs. I can tell you this, not as brutal on record as it was live.
No.
I bet.
It was faster and way more aggressive live than it ended up being on the record. It was a little bit of a letdown in a sense, but of the bunch, probably my favorite tune on that side.
All right, Jerry.
I had On Your Knees, and I had the Torture Never Stops.
Mm-hmm.
Tormentor is probably my least favorite. Not that I don't like it, but to me, this whole album is beautiful. So that's probably just not my most favorite.
Right.
But yeah, and I've got 3 songs here, Frank, on the album I got that aren't on this one. What did we do?
Correct.
Okay, as long as we're in tune.
Yeah. This is the American release, the actual official American release.
Well, I got lucky with mine then. I went iTunes.
Yeah, they put out.
It has them. Yeah.
Animal and I forget the other 2 songs. You probably
Show No Mercy
and Painted Black.
Yeah, Painted Black is just terrible. They don't do good. You may think they do good covers, but
don't touch a Stone song. If you're gonna touch a Stone song, touch one that's not popular. Do something with it.
I'm not a fan of the Stones version of Painted Black. It's not even one of my favorite Stone songs by
Wow, that's not. Wow, I didn't know that was an original. Well done, Jaime. Yep.
Show No Mercy was one they played in the clubs too. I guess just didn't make the cut, but
it ended up on a movie soundtrack. They did a lot of a lot of their songs, like 3 or 4, got put in movies. They had some kind of connections going on there because they had Goonies 2, Screaming Till You Like It, and some other songs popped up.
Well done, Frank. Well done.
Never saw Goonies 2.
You didn't miss anything.
I didn't see Goonies 1.
Goonies 1 was a tough watch.
Yeah, I like that one. It's funny, as a teenager, when this first came out, Sleeping in the Fire was my favorite song because it was just dark and
it's very heavy.
Yeah, and I thought that was the one that would probably offend people the most if I was playing it in my car, and it doesn't hold up as we've aged at all. It just doesn't fit the agenda. But I love The Torture Never Stops and Tormentor and Hellion. On Your Knees, I overplayed that, and like you, Jim, I've seen them play that, and it is so much better live.
Yes,
everything they do is better live, though. That's for sure. They captured a sound on this first album.
I love it.
I don't think they got back until Headless Children, and other than that, they've had some good albums, but nothing compares to this debut. This is my favorite Wasp album.
Yeah, I texted Frank on the download, Jim, and I said, "Wow, Frank, I would have never bought this on my own. This is a great album." And he was like, "Well, enjoy it." They didn't throw a bunch of them good after that.
They were a band that every time a new album came out, I said, "That's the last hit. I'm not buying anymore.
I'm not doing it no more."
Yeah, until the next one came out.
Right.
And I give
which you bought and said, like, why did I do this? They were a band to me that ended up. The singles were singles for a reason, like because they're the best tracks on the album. The rest of it didn't hold up too well. And even listening to this album, like you said, this recorded Record Plant, right?
Yeah.
L.A.
Yes.
There's some amazing sounding records that came out of the Record Plant, and when I heard this, and I was like, it sounds a little thin. It's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that big sound that say like a Heaven and Hell had or what, you know.
Right.
Didn't hold up too well for me.
You know, and that's what I want to say as far as, and it might be the genre too. Again, as we get older, this was crotch rock for 15 to 19-year-old kids.
Sure.
I mean, if you remember some of the clubs you had to sneak into because they were 21 and older back there.
Yeah.
It was a pure sausage fest. There were no girls going to see Wasp, you know. It wasn't. There were probably 50-50 when I saw him. Not me.
No, he's Italian. He got to use the word sausage.
No, I remember going and seeing them and being, you know, and actually thinking, I don't think I'd want to date a girl that is into Wasp in the first place.
Yeah, and I had to.
Frank.
Yeah.
No, but I remember seeing him and thinking like, I don't know why a girl would be here at this show.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it was just.
Yeah.
It was gnarly. I mean, it was sexist, misogynistic.
And nowadays, Blackie and his band live in
great rock
Europe.
And roll name, by the way, Blackie Lawless.
Yeah.
What a rock and roll name.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but he lives in Europe and he only plays in Europe. He says, "Oh, we're going on a world tour," and they're playing Switzerland and Finland, and that's it. That's his world tour. He refuses to come to the United States.
Those are the only two countries in his world.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was gonna say. Yeah. Apparently, he's Nordic background.
I don't know.
Who was it? I think was it Butch said he opened up for Wasp a couple times. He said
so.
Like he doesn't even come out and talk to like the opening bands. Like,
oh no, every band I've ever heard that's opened up for him said they pretty much treat him like trash. You know, he's above all that. He's you know, I think he takes himself way too seriously.
Well, interesting thing is, you know, I remember seeing him back then and thinking like, this guy's kind of old.
Back then,
yeah, I thought that too, Jim. When I saw him, I go, he's a little.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I want to say like when I saw him, and I was not 21.
Mm-hmm.
I was probably 19 when I saw him, but I was thinking like this dude's got to be like early 30s. I'm thinking he's older guy.
Right.
So I don't know why he doesn't want to come back to the States because
that's probably why.
There's no money for him. You know, he doesn't want to play clubs. He wants to play the festivals over there, and they do a lot of festivals in Europe.
Sure.
So
that's
that. Plus, they lip sync half their show now too. So.
Oh, really?
Check it out on YouTube.
You guys are
it's
killing
sad.
me with that stuff. Really?
Yeah. Just sad to watch now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, and one note, gentlemen, on that album: every tune is marked with a red E for explicit material.
Yeah.
I've never seen an album where every tune was that. Honestly, is that just me?
Yeah.
Am I being a monument of ignorance?
I think it's more the content of the lyrics, not so much the lyrics themselves.
Oh, I would agree.
But read,
yeah,
but if you read the lyrics, talk about monument of ignorance. I mean, there's nothing really of substance in any of the songs.
No,
not these days. I mean,
but nothing I would call explicit. I mean, animal, obviously, but nothing you'd call explicit by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. Every tune was marked that on stuff I purchased. Yeah, every tune.
Maybe Tipper put that out. Who knows?
Yeah.
So
good old Tipper Gore.
Yeah.
Well,
did you see D. Snyder from Twisted Sister tear her a new one in Congress?
Oh yeah.
They all
looked
did.
It up on YouTube just to watch it again. Yeah, but mostly D was.
Watch Zappa.
Zappa was great.
He made them look like idiots.
Oh yeah,
Zappa's even better.
Zappa's smart dude.
I'll look that up. Oh, Zappa's.
Yeah.
Muy inteligente. Oh yeah.
All right, guys. Well, moving on from WASP, our next show, Jerry, you've got the floor. So, what album are we going to listen to?
Guys, I hope you can see this. I know the shop talk is rock, but this album had some rocking tunes on it.
Oh, very nice.
We're going to go Blondie, Parallel Lines, I believe, set 1978. But you guys remember Nick LaCaprio, right?
Oh, yeah. He loved Blondie.
Yeah. He loved
He was
Blondie.
a big Blondie fan?
Big Blondie fan.
Hi, man.
I didn't know that.
Before I even knew they were a band, I remember in geometry class or something, he had a shirt that said Blondie on it. It was just a picture of Deborah Harry. So I just thought,
she's blonde.
Maybe it's a new model. Maybe it's like a Farrah Fawcett poster. I didn't even know it was a band. But this album I had, and I wore this out. And there we go, folks. Blondie, Parallel Lines, circa 1978, I think.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm looking at the track listing right now.
Oh, isn't it a beauty, Jaime?
One
way or another.
12 songs.
Lose you. I'm gonna give you the slip.
Everything's
I love that lyric.
Everything's right around the 3-minute mark, so that's not too bad.
Hey, I scored.
Buddy Holly cover, and this is the album they cover the Nerves tune, Hanging on the Telephone.
Yeah.
Which I actually prefer the Nerves version. But.
All right. I just wanted to share with you real quick. You talked about Nick LaCapra. He had an Impala, and he worked at Taco Bell. And he'd swing by the house and pick me up. And in his Impala, he had an 8-track tape player. And the only 8-track that he owned was Blondie, Parallel Lines.
I bet.
And we'd go down to Brea, wherever we went. We had to listen to that thing over and over and over. And I'm like, dude, you gonna buy another, tape or something?
You should have bought him the first Van Halen album.
Who knew?
Ooh. Wow.
But yeah, that's a good one, Jerry. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, yeah. That to me, that's I was scouring the brain cells, and I had a couple, but yeah. I sized it up a couple times. I go, Parallel Lines, Blondie. Wore it out. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
All right. Good
Looking
deal.
forward to it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap this thing up because you have to edit it out and get it out there. We're a day behind today. So
I cussed again.
We are.
Yeah, that's going to happen. So you have anything else, Jerry, before we go?
Folks, drop us an email, jfjshow@gmail.com. The show is JFJ Conspiracy Podcast, YouTube, all the social sites. And remember one thing, folks, even though we're in this COVID lockdown, keep rocking. Just keep rocking, folks. Love you very much. Right, Frank?
There you go. Yeah, that's good.
Keep rocking, folks.
Hey, I want to say, if you are still watching, hit that subscribe button. Leave us a comment. Let us know you're listening. Let us know what band you want us to cover. We're interested in knowing what our listeners want to listen to. If you're interested in our take on what music you're listening to, we'll talk about it. Why not?
Drop it.
Probably it's not as good as what we're going to pick, but we'll try it.
Oh, it can't be. Well, that's 3 guys with all the years of experience we have.
Exactly.
We're the experts in the field.
That's right.
We're the experts in this room.
That's the experts in this room.
I'm the expert at my place.
There you go. All right, Jim, do you have anything else?
Ring that notification bell. Check out the bands we picked this week.
Yes.
Really, really great stuff. Whether
the Cheap Easies from Cleveland, Ohio.
Whether it's punk, pop punk, or power pop, or hard rock. All good picks this week. I really like that song we had. And,
all good stuff.
Leave a comment about how much you hate that WASP album or how much you love it.
Yeah. Don't be a monument of ignorance, folks.
Yep.
Let us know.
Yeah, leave that to us.
Yeah.
All right, Jim, take us home.
Shop is closed.
Oh man, I got some heartburn.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
Taco Bell.
So I don't know what it is, but I don't mess with it no more. I go Del Taco, and they have the best dollar menu on the planet. You can get full for $4.